Welcome back to the Decent Garage. In today's video, we are back on the Gooseneck trailer. If you watched the last video on the trailer, we did a ton of work. We put lights everywhere, we rewired some stuff, we redid our 7-pin plug, bunch of stuff. Go back and watch that video, but we ended up with a few issues that we need to address in this video, as well as do a few more things that we didn't get to. The first issue we ran into is when we ran the winch, it drew so much power it dimmed all of our cool lights that we put on, but it kind of negates the purpose of having all those lights if you can't see while you're using the winch. So we're gonna figure that out. Second, when we use the winch, where we have it mounted to up here started to flex a little bit. I'm gonna change the position of where the winch is at. We actually had the rope come down and zigzag a little bit, which talking to a few people since then, we don't want that. So we're gonna mount our winch in a different spot. We need to address our rear ramps, get rid of what's on there. I'll show you what we're gonna put in its place. We need to redo the rear wiring, our reverse lights that we installed that are supposed to turn on when you put the truck in reverse and shine everything back behind the trailer. Didn't even work, so we need to address that too. We might run into a few other things, but let's get into it. So here's my plan. This is where our winch was mounted. I mean, it looks pretty dang solid, but yeah, it was flexing, and it may, I think, just have been this fairlead mount that I've had on there that's really flexing. So this may have been okay, but I had a guy reach out to me on Instagram who's been working with these old trailers actually and hauling old stuff like I'm gonna do for years and years. And he suggested we mount this up here, so that we don't have to deal with that angle of the rope, which we lose a lot of our pull power in that angle. And that way it's got a straight pull no matter what. So I think what I'm gonna do is cut this off, bring it up here, weld it on, reinforce it all, and we'll use the same bracket and mount it right up to that bracket. Now in order to do that, I've got a grinder, we could use a grinder, but I wanna try a new tool that I got. Let me show you what that is. I'm excited to try this out. All right, we got it off. I actually ended up getting the plasma cutter back out, but it came off really clean. So we'll just put a block off plate where that old fairlead was. Obviously, we'll brace it up. We're gonna make this nice and strong, so hopefully this works. I was having trouble figuring out this winch, getting it exactly how I wanted it. Anyways, let me show you what I ended up doing. I've got it all mounted, got it all wired, it works. I actually had Strong Kevin come over because I trust him in a lot of this stuff. He's got some good experience, so he came over and within a couple minutes, he knew exactly what we were gonna do. We did it and it's done. So let me show you that. So I'd mentioned I wanted to bring the winch out on here and mount it. And I had a plate all ready to do that. And I was about to weld it and I just did not like the look of it just sitting way out, kind of like a Bubba Gump lip type thing. So Kevin came over and we decided if we mounted it upside down where it was, the rope would come straight through this fairlead, and sure enough, it is a straight shot. So that's what we did. We mounted it up, we gusseted it, and then even after Kevin left, I put these braces all the way up to the front, and it is solid as a rock. Now I also figured out something as to why this probably was not working how it was supposed to when we tried to load the truck. I didn't have the ground hooked up correctly, and it almost completely melted the ground wire that I had. So let me show you what I found out so that if you buy one of these winches, you do it correctly. So here you can see it mounted upside down. Now here's the issue. The winch comes with this big power cable already attached to it, and then this little black wire that I was like, oh, that's the ground. And I should have known there's no way that's a sufficient ground for such a heavy-duty machine. So I noticed this lug back here and there was nothing on it. It was empty. And so I pulled out the instruction manual, and sure enough, I needed to put a massive ground from there straight to the battery, which I've done. And then this little wire goes from here to that lug. So I changed that around, and sure enough, this thing rips now. So I'm curious to see what it does to the draw and the light situation. Also, I went and bought a new battery, a Marine Deep Cycle battery. So the battery being weak or bad. That's out of the question now as well. So we should be fairly set up to give this a test. Also, more importantly, I had to remount my dome light, but it is still there. It shines brightness all underneath of there. This is a really, really cool setup now. So we got the winch all wired up and working. We got our new battery in. Things are looking good up here. We got our dome light in. Things are looking really good up here. But I want to try one more thing. So when we were using the winch to load the truck, it drew the battery way down. Now, I don't think that battery was a very good battery, so that could be part of the issue. But what I want to do is wire this up so that when it's plugged into the truck and the truck is running, it's charging the battery as well. I've got this wire. What I'm going to do is run it from the 12-volt prong on our 7-pin junction box up to the battery, and that should put the battery on the same circuit as the battery and charging system of the truck. So when the truck is running and plugged in, this should be charging somewhere around 14 volts, which means we should never have a battery issue while we're using the winch if the truck is running. Now, you may have noticed in the last video and in this video, but something I'm using as far as wire management goes, and by that I mean just making the wires look good where they're at, are these magnetic mounts. And I got a few different styles. Some are designed to accept a zip tie and some are designed to accept these clamps. And essentially the clamp just screws on there. It magnets wherever we want it. So I'll put a link to all these that I have in the description, but they have been awesome. Really helpful, especially when working on a big steel trailer. So from my research, it should be that easy. Let's back Fat and Sassy up right here, plug it in, and our little voltmeter over here should read 14-ish volts. Okay, it's plugged in. Let's switch this on. What are your guesses? Comment below. Oh baby. 13.3, it is charging. I think if the truck was warmed up more, it'd be charging more, but there we have it. Okay, we got the winch figured out, we got our wiring figured out, we got our ground for our winch figured out. We have it charging while it's plugged into the truck. This setup is way better than what we ended up with last video. That's what we're trying to do, is make it better and better. So now that we have this all figured out up front, let's head to the back. Let me show you the janky ramps, why I hate them, and what we're going to replace them with. So in the last video, I didn't show you the rear portion of the trailer. Now in this time since buying the trailer and now, I've actually discovered this used to be a flat deck trailer. Someone cut it off, dovetailed it, and it's a pretty good job. It's not the best, but it'll work. But they also made some homemade ramps. And you can see they tried to pull on something with this rear brace and it is bent. So not only is the brace bent, but the tube that the ramps pivot on is bent. Let me pull one of the ramps out and show you why I'm not a fan of these. A, they are heavy. B, this right here never go down when you want them to go down, and then when they're down and you roll a truck off the back, they pop up and they'll hit the truck. So when I bought this trailer, I thought I really loved these flip-up ramps. I don't. I hate them. So we're gonna cut them off, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna replace them with. So in order to cut them off, I'm gonna jack up the tail end of the trailer, which they won't go down because we have a truck on the trailer. We're gonna have trucks on the trailer all the time. We can't deal with this. Oh, I'm frustrated. All right, that's probably good enough. Okay, I'm gonna get the plasma cutter out. We're just gonna cut right off of here and get rid of these things. Strong Kevin passed by to get in on some of the plasma cutting action. Hey yo. We got the old ramps cut off thanks to Kevin's help with the plasma cutter. Those things were janky, they were massive. I am so glad to have them gone. You wouldn't believe the sense of relief it feels to have them gone and how much better the trailer actually looks. So I've hauled them off to the dump already. Let me show you what we're gonna replace them with. So I bought these from vever.com, straight out of China, I'll admit. But they were here in 2 days and they were under 300 bucks. They're rated at 6,000 pounds. 6 feet long, 15 inches wide. Now we're gonna adjust the situation here, but I wanna give you just an idea of what this will look like. Just like that. So we're gonna adjust. We have a lot of work to do here. This whole brace is pretty tweaked, and I don't like how these are just hooking onto this bar for right now. We're gonna figure that out here in a minute, but what I wanna do as far as storage goes is something along the lines of this. Having them just sit right up here in this empty space. We'll come up with some type of system that kind of straps them down or secures them down. I don't know, what do you think? I think that'll work. I think that keeps them accessible, makes it look nice, like a whole platform across the back. And I think as we rework this brace across the back, we can kind of make them fit a little bit tidier and have it look really, really good. All right, so we got our crappy flip up ramps off. Like I said, we're gonna go with these aluminum ones. I'm really excited about that, but we need to make a spot for them to attach to, and we also need to fix the center section of this rear brace. It is mangled. It's like someone hooked up to it with a chain and tried to pull something out of the mud. We're gonna cut that out, redo something, make it a little bit better, and then we need to figure out where we're gonna store our aluminum ramps. Okay, look how much better this looks so far. So I cut this huge brace out that was just mangled. Just cutting that out made it so much nicer. But then I came along, kind of cut some angles and stuff, made it look nicer. Now, what I want to do is get a piece of plate to make a fascia here to put some 3 red running lights there as well. It looks way better than what it did for sure. Maybe you don't agree, but I'm guessing you probably do. I think it looks really good. Again, once we kind of fill in that gap there, I think it'll look really, really good and be way stronger.
I needed to make a secure lip for the aluminum ramps to be able to hook onto.
I did some cardboard aided design and got this panel kind of mocked up how I want it. So let's get this cut out of metal, get our holes cut for our rear running lights, and weld it onto the trailer. Okay, I got the rear wiring all taken care of. Our new tail lights, brake lights, reverse lights. And I went with the tail lights that have reverse lights in them, which I think will be nice. And we've got our marker light over here. Threw a quick coat of black spray paint on everything. I don't know why, because I'm not gonna paint the whole trailer yet, but just thought I'd do it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna let the sun go down, let it get dark, and we're gonna test everything out again. Redoing the ground on the winch, a new battery, plugging the trailer into the truck to charge it. We're gonna see how it performs at night. Before that though, I wanna show you guys the Mighty products, the straps, the ratchets, the recovery rope, all that stuff in a little more detail in the light. Then when the sun goes down, we'll test out the trailer. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to Mighty Products for helping me out with outfitting our new Gooseneck trailer with everything we need. Let me show you in detail real quick what we got, some of the details. That way, if you want to get some of this stuff, you can go to the website and order it. I'm very impressed with the quality and the price. So first, they sent this 30-foot kinetic energy recovery rope, 2-inch diameter. It is a beast. Now, you saw in the video, I use this to use my wife's Suburban to pull the OG crew cab, and it really does absorb a lot of that energy. Now, that was not near as much energy as this thing's designed for. This thing can yank stuff out of mud, water, sand, whatever it is. I'm very impressed with this. They also sent out 2-inch ratchet straps. These are 27 feet long with the hook on the end. They go perfectly with the 2-inch ratchets that they sent out as well. And the quality on these is perfect. Haven't had any issues, and I've used them quite a bit. They also sent out these 8-foot straps with these clevis hook attachments on it, various hooks. I didn't know what these were. Actually, Strong Kevin told me about these. I am so glad I got these. It's way easier to tie down the vehicle, just hooking onto holes in the frame rails. And the beauty of it is you only have a little tiny tail left once you ratchet it in. So you don't have a bunch of strap to worry about and get taken care of. Don't have to worry about it coming undone and flopping in the wind down the freeway. Really awesome. So if you want any of these products or any other products, they have literally anything you could imagine for the trailer. Check out the description below. I put more information down there. Thank you, Mighty Products. All right, so I unloaded the OG crew cab under our lean-to. Sorry guys, you didn't get to see that, but we have a storm rolling in and I've got a donor truck for my wife's build out in the street. We got to get it out of the street because we're going to get some snow, and the city doesn't like trucks that aren't running sitting on the street. So let's hook up the gooseneck. We'll turn on the lights of the trailer and make sure the winch doesn't affect how the brightness and everything like it did in the first attempt we made. But I'm hoping now that we have it grounded better, it should work perfectly. So let's load up this truck. Let's see how this does. We'll turn on all the lights to see if the winch draws. All right, let's engage our winch. So pay attention to the lights. I'm gonna steer. Oh yeah, no dimming of the lights at all. Oh my goodness, guys, this is so sweet. So grounding that winch really made a huge difference. There we go. All right, so we have our clevis hook system. There we go. Now, this is something else that Mighty Products sells. They actually didn't send these to me. I just bought them at the recommendation of a bunch of people on Instagram. So put them in there, put your pin in. Now we have, oh, need ratchets. So basically we can make a D-ring anywhere that we have a pocket stake. So if you want to help me figure out stuff like this, make sure to go follow me on Instagram, because it was really there that helped me find these. Okay. All right, guys, there we go. All the kinks worked out. Grounding the winch appropriately seems to have helped a ton. The lights didn't dim at all. The winch worked perfectly. I was even able to sit in the cab and winch the truck up. So I think that even helped the remote distance as well. All these Mighty products are awesome. These movable D-rings are awesome. Loving this setup. So I think that is all we're gonna do to the trailer for now. We'll probably come back and do some stuff, but for now we have a trip planned with Fat and Sassy and the Gooseneck to head out to Kansas and pick up another truck. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks for your support, Decent Garage crew, and we'll see you guys in the next one.